Welcome back to the Mind Goals podcast hosted by yours truly, Siobhan Higgins, sport and performance psychology consultant, professional soccer player, yoga instructor, and soccer coach. The Mind Goals podcast is a place that I hold space for myself, athletes, and other athletic personnel so that we can converse and talk about our journeys and all in all, how we acquired the mindset that we have today, with the goal in mind that any listener or anyone in the audience can gain something from this and improve their mindset. So with that being said, today I'm really excited to have our first baseball player on here, my old high school classmate and professional baseball player, Jon Duplantier.
Hey, what's going on?
What's
Happy to be here. Nothing.
Welcome back to Houston.
Appreciate that.
So I say welcome back to Houston because you don't live here. Where do you live currently?
Currently, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
Houston's always considered home, so I'll say I'm coming back home, but I've been out in Houston on and off now for, 2024, so roughly 8 years now.
Yeah.
And officially made it home or made it my home in the off season 2 years ago. So.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your parents still live here, correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
We're still down here.
Yeah, so for the viewers or listeners, Jon and I met in high school. We went to Seven Lakes High School, which is why I'm wearing my old state sweater for soccer. I love it. It's like my dad's and it's oversized. It's like my comfort sweater. This podcast is brought to you by our Outfits.
We did not plan this.
Comfy, casual, whatever.
Yeah.
But we both went to Seven Lakes High School. Jon, you graduated in 2013, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I graduated in 2014. But we met in Senora
Boca Negra.
Bocanegra's Spanish class.
Yep. When you tried to convince everybody you didn't already speak Spanish, it was crazy.
Did I?
Yeah.
I'm Spanglish.
Yeah, fair enough.
You probably got a better grade in that class than I did.
That was weird. That was a weird situation.
Yeah, I'm not like a native speaker. My mom's Ecuadorian, so I grew up speaking Spanish, but it's proficient. It's not.
You know what? You'd be proud of my Spanish now, because since I got into professional baseball, I hang out with a lot of Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Venezuelans, Colombians. So hear a lot of Spanish during the season.
Yeah.
In the off season, not so much, but during the season, Spanish gets pretty good.
Love that.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah.
Hi.
For me, soccer is like a Hispanic dominant sport, and here being in Texas, there's a lot of Hispanics and Mexicans, like Latin community, and so on the field you're speaking it a lot as well.
Right.
So I can resonate with that.
Right.
So first, for viewers to just get to know you a little bit better, are you originally from Houston, or is your family from Houston?
All right. Excuse me. Got the
good.
emotional support water bottle. No. So my parents are originally from Louisiana.
Okay.
My dad's from up north Louisiana. My mom's down south, and they met in college.
Nice.
I was actually born in Newark, Delaware.
Okay.
My dad got a job out of college, so that took them to the Northeast. We got back here 10 months after I was born.
Okay.
He was in the oil and gas industry, so Houston's a hub for that. And we were pretty much down here on and off through high school. We went overseas a couple times. So we went to Dubai in '99.
Wow.
After Haley and Devin were born, and then came back about a year and a half later. And then when I was in the fifth grade, the second half of fifth grade, we moved to Indonesia. So we were in Jakarta for another year and a half.
Okay.
Kind of just did expat stuff.
Yeah.
And then, moved back. And then we were pretty much here from, my seventh grade year through high school, or till now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's nice. So you did get to explore a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Very young, but also you remember those experiences.
Yeah. It's from a developmental mindset.
Mm-hmm.
The 11, 12, like pre-adolescent age is extremely important. Your brains are so malleable that those experiences, those times in your life, like they kind of form who you are. So, I believe I have a unique experience being overseas, being an American overseas, growing up in that environment, coming back and realizing that things that are important to my friends that were my friends from kindergarten on, weren't necessarily as important to me when I got back. And then I kind of reverted back to the American societal ways, but it was just cool because I had a weird awareness at 12 to 14 years old, which not many 12 to 14 year olds have.
Yeah. What would you say that awareness was of things of importance?
I just noticed that, well, I guess when I got back after a while, I started to reminisce on when I was meeting people, like literally meeting new friends in the 5th and 6th grade in Jakarta, and realizing that the questions that people, like kids, questions that classmates asked me to get to know me were just different than questions that classmates here are asked, right?
Yeah.
The priorities were different. You know, over there it was, hey, what's your name? Okay, cool. Where are you from? Oh, okay. Like, what kind of books do you like to read? Books? And it's like when you say yes or no, and if you say yeah, then it's like, well, what genre of book? You know, and it's like, what interests you? What piques your mind? Granted, a 12-year-old's not saying what piques your mind, but like those are kind of the questions that they're asking, and so you kind of really get to know a wide array of people because a bunch of different people from all over the place have similar interests, right? You don't go over there, like over there, it's not like, oh, this person speaks the same language of me or as me, so we're friends now. Or this person plays the same sport as me, so naturally, you know what? We're together all the time, we're practicing all the time, so we're boys now. Like that happens, but you end up finding yourself friends with, I mean, part of my identity has been being an athlete, being athletic.
Yes.
So as an athletic person, athletic kid, sports was big to me.
Yeah.
I found myself having a lot of friends that didn't play sports. And maybe they enjoyed playing sports at recess, but like they weren't going to play sports. They never had an intention of being, going to college and play sports or playing on the high school team. Like there's just, you saw it just wasn't in their cards. But like we knew what video games we like to play, what books we like to read. We'd swap, whatever, right? Like you kind of just got to know the inside, and like next thing you know, we're walking down the hallway and it's like, these two don't look like they match up together, you know, whereas like in America, sometimes, most of the time, friends look like they should be friends, right? Like it's all it's the jocks walking around together, right? It's
those stereotypes that you see in movies are pretty true. They're not just, I wouldn't say they're really stereotypes. Like there are groups, you know, clicked off, whether like you're in debate or you're in choir or, you know, you're more of in arts or liberal arts or you're more in sports.
Yeah. So it's just, I mean, coming back at 12 and 14, like I started realizing, like once I was in high school, I was kind of like, whoa, like Indonesia was crazy because that's just not how we operate here.
Yeah.
And so I remember moving back, walking into my first class, which you can't make this up. I walked into an English, like a reading class in 7th grade, and it was like, it seemed like all of my best friends were there from like kindergarten on. Like all my best friends before I moved were in that class. We shut it down. The teacher didn't know what was going on. And then it was just like, hey, are you still good at this? Are you still good at this? Like, hey, you've gotten any better at basketball? Are you better at football? Like, and it was just like, kind of shocked. I was like, why do y'all care about that, dog? Like, you know, I kind of realized that priorities were different based on where we were in the world. And there was nothing wrong with that. You know, I think just kind of how we grow up, you know, and I definitely have found myself reverting back to the American ways at times. But I mean, it was just interesting to notice. That
is interesting, especially to notice that like in middle school, because I moved to America when I was 4. And so that's kind of all I really knew. But I hear what you're saying, because America is a very sports dominant country, which Absolutely. Is why, you know, the question's like, are you still good at this? Are you still fast enough? Can I still beat you in this?
Oh, yeah.
Very competitive mindset.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Good to know that little background. I didn't actually know that about you.
Crazy.
Yeah, because I only knew you. I think it was my sophomore year, your junior year of high school.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So at the point, I'm like, I'm 16, you're 17. That's so funny. Yeah. It was like 10 years ago.
No, it wasn't. I'm 30. I'm 30 now.
Okay, well, close. Like 13 years.
I know. We're almost closer to 20 years than we are to 10.
Yeah. No, we're actually not. I just said 13.
Oh, fair enough. All right. Good thing we were in Spanish. Yeah, we were in Spanish.
Yeah, we were in Spanish.
Yeah, my fault.
That's fine. Okay, you piqued my interest. First, you're wearing a rice hat.
Yeah.
So
hootie hoot, baby. Right to the camera. Hootie hoot. You know what it is. Rice fight never die. Come on.
Is that what it is?
Rice fight never die.
Cute.
No, it's not cute. We're vicious.
Owls.
Vicious owls.
Are owls vicious?
Yes. They're apex predators.
I've seen one in my life.
hopefully you don't see two.
Apex predators. Okay.
Yeah.
Who do you go, Rice Owls?
Yep. Sorry.
How did you choose? No, it's fine. How did you choose going to Rice University? And if you're comfortable letting me know, what were your other options?
Yeah. This is all right. So I got my mom's mind. The way it works, I kind of bounce around a little bit. So I'm just gonna. This is what happened. Mm-hmm. You know Caleb Binnenlock?
Yeah.
Okay. Caleb was my best friend. Mm-hmm. Caleb got really big in the football space in high school, and we hung out a lot. And Caleb was like, "Dude, like you could for sure go play football in college. You should look into that."
Okay.
So naturally, the only thoughts I had, because I never thought about playing college sports. I never thought about playing professional sports.
Really?
It was,
okay.
yeah, no, never. Mm-hmm. It was always go to college. I always thought I was going to go to LSU and go do what my dad did and kind of get a chemical engineering degree and go from there. But so we started looking at like schools with good educations, like good, good educational foundations, right? Rice, Stanford, the Ivy Leagues. Mm-hmm. So we looked into that for football, bounced around, and going into my senior year, my dad took me on a college, like an Ivy League football camp tour. So we went to Princeton, Yale, Harvard, and then checked out like UPenn and all this stuff. And like we were gone for, I always tell the story, and I think it was a month. We were gone for a couple weekends, right?
Cool.
So I did a couple of camps, and I ended up getting an offer from Yale, which was awesome. It was super exciting. But after that, those couple weeks, I missed my mom so much, right? I just couldn't wait to get home because I was like, I just missed my mom. And I was like, I hated being away from my mom for that long.
For 3 weeks.
Yeah. All right. Hold on.
No, I'm not judging.
Yeah. So like, that didn't take anything into account then. We went home. Everything was fine. Later in that summer, there was a baseball tournament that, you remember Cole Angel?
Yeah.
Okay. So Cole, his dad, Cole's playing for a team. His dad was like, hey, is John's arm in shape? Like, we need a pitcher. You want to come pitch? So I roll with them.
But you, just for people to know, you played football and baseball for the
Correct,
school.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
no, I'm
sorry.
just saying. Because I was like, football? What? Okay.
Oh, yeah,
I do remember though.
And so I go to this tournament, and mind you, like I had reached out to Rice before about baseball because we just reached out to everything, and told the coach like, hey, like I'm gonna be pitching in this tournament at this time. If you're around, come check me out. He goes, maybe like I'm here to see other people, but if I have time, I'll come watch. So I'm like, all right, perfect. That's all I asked. If you have time, come check me out. I threw well. He actually had time to show up. So he showed up. He saw me throw. I threw well. And then a couple weeks later, they kind of were like, hey, like we'd like to offer you. So I said, cool. So I had an offer to go play football at Yale, baseball at Rice. I was going to play baseball at Yale as well, but I was going there to play football. And then first week of senior football, first week of games, I go out and I tear my meniscus.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I don't remember that.
it was like a scrimmage. It was like week 0. So it was technically a scrimmage against another team. Mm-hmm. I tear my meniscus, and I have to get meniscus, like just a scope. It was a month-long surgery. Nothing like your ACL, right? But like I had the surgery, and the doctor, I had broken 2 collarbones both years prior, and the doctor was like, hey, listen, I know you could go play football in college, but do you play any other sport?
Yeah.
Because like clearly your body doesn't like football. And I was like, I guess I can throw a baseball, all right? Like I can go play baseball in college, so I'll go do that. And so I called Rice and I was like, hey, if y'all still have me, like I would like to come to Rice. And he was like, perfect, we love it. And I was like, also I don't have to be far from my mom, thank God. Like, all right, cool.
It worked out.
Yeah, it worked out great.
But also, did you ever get back to Rice, or you were waiting in like that? Did you say no to Rice first and then got injured and then we're like, hey, will you take me back?
I didn't say no. It was kind of like an open, they were like, hey, listen, we know there are other schools, or if there's other schools, like just let us know whenever you're ready. Cause it was like right before senior year, like you don't have to commit on spot. So it's like, if you have offers standing, hey, get all the offers you want and then kind of make the decisions best for you. And then once I had the meniscus surgery, I kind of called them and said, hey, this happened. I would like to play baseball. If y'all still have me, I would like to commit. And they were like, absolutely. We're not gonna renege on our commitment to you, our offer to you, just because of a meniscus injury. Like we're in it. We offered you, and we're in it for you. So very grateful to them for that. Yeah, and it just worked out great. I was 30 minutes from home. Got to see my parents literally like
Yeah.
I mean, whenever I wanted.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and they got to come to all your games too.
Yeah. Any game that they wanted to. They were games that I wasn't even pitching. They were there. It was great.
I love that.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so that's how you ended up at Rice. And you spent all 4 years there, is that correct?
3. So I was there for 3 years and I got drafted after my 3rd year.
Very cool. Yeah, okay, and so then how did you, my next question was going to be, how did you make the decision to want to play professionally, and when did that come about? Like how long into your career did you realize, oh, I could take this to another level?
So like I said earlier, you know, I never really thought about playing college sports, let alone professional sports. And so I think it was this, call it like just this naivety, right? Like I was just naive and got to Rice because I was using college sports to get a degree. You know, that was the point of going to a good school. And I remember getting to school, still not really thinking like I'm gonna be a professional baseball player, but knowing that it's a potential, you know, it's just, I gotta get better. And I got to Rice and my first bullpen, I threw a pretty good bullpen, and like coach was like, went and checked my birthday and goes, hey, you know, you could get drafted out of here like a little early because your summer birthday. And I said, I could wait. I didn't hear anything about being drafted early. All I heard was like, drafted. Hey, you know, you could be drafted. And I was like, I looked at him and said, Coach, you really think I could get drafted? And he goes, Jon, if you don't get drafted and you don't get into professional baseball, he used some other language, but he goes, somebody messed up and it ain't gonna be me. And I said, all right, cool. So I think in that moment, I saw, it wasn't just his words. I saw like in his eyes, right? Like the surprise that he was like, you didn't know this? I mean, the surprise in his eyes kind of lit a fire in me. I think in that moment, I made a decision. It was like red pill, blue pill. It's like, okay, I could really go in here and like continue to get this education. Because I mean, we had teammates that did that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like the education is great, and you can go do some great things, right? You're gonna have a great life. Or I could take the blue pill, and the blue pill was like, I'm gonna sell out. I got all my eggs. I'm gonna put them in a basket, and like whatever decisions I make are gonna be for this, right? And like, am I gonna commit to that? And in that moment, I made the commitment and kind of the decision, kind of put all my eggs in the basket, and was like, okay, I got plan A, there's no plan B. And so that was like really the first time that I really entertained the idea, right?
Was that freshman year, you said?
Freshman year. It was like freshman year. It was like, I mean, 3 months after walking across the stage. You know, it was like one of the first couple weeks on campus when we were able to start working out and everything. And like, yeah, it happened pretty quick for me. And like, granted, I was in a very fortunate situation. Like, pitching coach, he was hard on us, but he was encouraging and supportive. We had the right guys on that team that were older, that they were going to play pro ball, and they had the mindset already. Okay, and
so it was very nice.
Yeah,
good environment.
Yeah, I mean, I literally got plugged into. It was like
beautiful.
I got plugged into like, hey, do what he does. See how he moves.
You had great role models and leadership and the resources to help you get there. That's very cool. Yeah. Did you finish your degree in the end?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. What was it? What were you going to school for?
Kinesiology. So like, I mean, when I tell you, I made the decision to like all the eggs in the basket. Like I was going to do some kind of engineering. Like when I got to Rice, I thought I was going to do some kind of engineering or something that like, if baseball didn't work out, I was going to go and be able to make good money, support my family. Like I'm going to go into the workforce, right? Yeah. It was going to be like at least what I grew up, how I viewed that, right? And when I made that decision, I was like, well, okay, what degree here is going to allow me to give myself the best shot? And I came to the decision that sports medicine, kinesiology, like I would learn about the body. I would learn about my body. I would be able to talk to trainers, like medical staff, strength staff, coaches, other players, and use actual terms that made sense, and not just say my shoulder, but I can say glenohumeral joint, right? Or like I could say my labrum. Like I know the difference between the different rotator cuff muscles and like what each muscle is supposed to do, and like actually how my body's supposed to move. So like, very cool. I made the decision because I was like, all right, if I'm going to sell out on this, I don't want to be the guy that shows up and goes, my knee. You know, it's like, oh, my knee. You know, it's like, no, like I'm hurting in the medial, like going in the medial, you know, all stuff that we kind of deal with. little did I know it would end up really helping, because I've been through so many injuries, right? I mean, you can attest to that, but I mean, kinesiology.
That's great. That's actually a really good, I think that's a wise decision, especially as a freshman. And because, you know, we go into college and we're like forced to choose a major. And a lot of time we don't know what we want to do. And for you kind of knew what you want to do, but then you decided you're going to put all your eggs in one basket. So let me change it to make it, I wouldn't say like easier, but something that made more sense.
Yeah, it's just everything was kind of congruent,
made
right?
More,
like
exactly.
I shouldn't say every, but like as many aspects of my life were now moving in the same direction, which as a wise, mature 30-year-old, right? Like I'm sitting there, I look at it and I go, okay, I shouldn't call myself wise. That's not very wise. But I look back and I go, dadgum, that was dope. Good on you, kid. You know, like sweet. It kind of really helped. Yeah. And I don't know where I'd be if I hadn't done that.
Right.
I would have been trying to do it on the fly, right? But
helpful. Good decision.
Absolutely.
Good for you. That's
Absolutely.
awesome. Yeah. And anyone listening, like that's honestly a really good route to take. And then it's common because actually going, for me, I kind of did an opposite. I went into college with the kinesiology in mind, and I did 2 years of that. And then I changed to psychology.
Dope.
Because, I didn't realize I wanted to play pro until later. But for me, it was just more of academics. It made sense for me. And I didn't see myself as a physical therapist anymore, which is what I was pursuing, or that was my end goal. And I just love the way like the mind works. And also that's like very important to understand, like your body, mind. And then, I wanted to work with kids. I didn't end up doing that, but again, here I am now. And I got my other degree in sports psychology. Yeah. So that's like up and coming as well. It's also very important, still relevant, and it makes sense for me.
Well, I mean, also it's like so you did 2 years of kinesiology, right? And then you went to the psychology realm, and it's like, how crazy is it? Like, how well do they go together? You know what I mean?
Very well.
It's to the point where like, if your psyche's not right, a lot of times the body ends up not being right as well. And like you hyperfixate on things. Like I know I definitely have. And like I had to like unwind myself and like climb myself out of these psychological holes with the help of a ton of people that had these degrees, you know, just to give my body a shot, you know?
They align. It's like mind, body are together. Whenever I'm talking to athletes, like a lot of your performance, I would say it's like 80% mental, 20% your actual capabilities.
I mean, 100%, especially at this level.
And with injuries. Yeah. I was going to ask, because we talked about your family a little bit, but how important, I love asking this for professional athletes because a lot of people don't know, like yes, it's you, but a lot of it is like family and your support system. Like how important was it for your family to be close to you, and like how have they helped you in these past, I guess, 10 years?
This question, I read it on there and I was like, I mean, she's going to ask it. I hope she asks it because this is an important question. But like, truly, it's a question that like, if I think about it too hard, I get a little emotional. I mean, Haley and Devin, just from my siblings, my younger siblings, Haley and Devin, they had so many weekends where it wasn't about them and it was about me going to play baseball, right? Or even basketball, you know, and we would go to small little towns. It was cold. They're out there freezing, pissed, not happy. So I could go play baseball with my friends, you know, and like, and I don't remember them ever holding resentment over me or saying, well, you did this for Jon. Like, no, like they've always been supportive in that aspect. Like my parents, my dad, he made whatever I needed, I got. But you know what's funny? He didn't give it to me without me giving something back. Like I had to show commitment. It wasn't just, hey, you need to go work out, so you're going to go train and you're going to go do this. He was like, no, if you want to do this, let me know. And if you want to do this, then I need to see that you want to do this. You know, it's like, I'm not forcing you to do anything. My parents, they never forced me to play sports or they wanted me to play sports because it's cool and it's fun. And like they played sports and they like enjoy it, but it was never forced to do anything. And then once I got into sports and I enjoyed sports, my mom, I think, was my mom was the fuel. So like my dad was kind of like it kind of like kept me in the lines, but then my mom was the fuel. So every game, every tryout, whether it's junior high, high school, professional, college, professional. I mean, I don't know how many times my mom has looked at me and my siblings and said, hey, today you better go play like they're picking the MVP. It's practice. Mm-hmm. Go have fun and go play like they're picking the MVP with a smile on her face. You go. And sure, it might seem corny in the moment, or like when she says it around your friends, and it's like, all right, cool. I'm taking my bag and I'm out. You know, I'm trying to be cool, but like, I mean, I have found myself now pitching in AAA in the big leagues and having moments like a failure where I realized like after the fact that like, man, I might have been pitching around that at bat a little soft, a little tired, a little timid. But then other at bats I'm pitching like, no, I'm just gonna go and have fun and like pitch like the pick in the MVP. And like I can hear my mom's voice at times, you know, and it's like, so in that aspect, I mean, knowing that I had a space to go out there and I wasn't letting anybody down, I didn't feel like I was taking anything from anybody. So shout out Haley and Devin on that. That was safe.
Yeah.
Knowing that if I wanted to do something, I wanted to commit to something, my dad was going to support that regardless of what it was. Mm-hmm. It just so happened to be sports. That's that. Safe, right?
Yeah.
And therefore, like I could commit to that, and I didn't feel like I was costing everybody a lot of money or time or anything. Because I felt supported in that. And then knowing that when I decided to go do something, I was going to have the strength of my mother behind me and her words and her whispers, right? Like propelling me with fuel. Like, come on. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know in the moment. I didn't know.
But looking back, it's, you know.
Looking back and being able to like kind of realize that and kind of put that puzzle together. Like, shoot, I think I probably got the best family I know. They're still doing that, right?
Mm-hmm. Support system is so important.
Yeah. They were moving furniture today and they were like, you're not allowed to lift anything. No, absolutely not. Nah, we got to keep you healthy. You know, we got to make sure you're prime and set up for the season. It's like, nah, I'm going to help y'all carry these couches. I'm okay. We're all right.
Yeah.
But like, that's how they consider me, right? Yeah. Couldn't have done it without them. I mean, any other setup, I'm probably not doing this, or I wouldn't have been doing it for as long, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's so important. And I appreciate you answering the way that you did, because a lot of people, you know, they see from the outside in, but this is inside out, to see like behind the scenes, like what it actually takes. Like, yes, it's Jon and it's his discipline, hard work ethic, and then talent, and consistency, and everything else that encompasses being an athlete. But it's also the family as well, and people that are helping you along the way, your friends, significant others. Absolutely. And just people that are pushing you and being supportive, whether it's physically there or it's mentally or it's words. Like, absolutely. It's so important and it's so necessary.
I mean, body language, right? I mean,
yeah.
If I was in high school and I said, hey, I got a game tonight, and my parents saying, hey, we're going to Jon's game tonight, and then Haley's shoulder slumped, she was like, ugh, nah, I ain't going. Like, who knows what that would have just maybe, what kind of seed that could have planted in my subconscious, right? Like,
yeah.
Haley's word and how Haley views things, I take that so strongly. I don't cut my hair without telling Haley because I trust her and I love her so much that it's like, Haley, I'm gonna cut my hair. What you think? And she'll shoot me straight. She's gonna say, nah, your hair don't look good when it's short. Keep it long, or vice versa, right? Like,
she's got your back.
She's got my back always. So I think in those times, if there had even been a body language thing where it's like, we gotta do this again. This ain't, why he doing this? He stinks. He ain't worth all that. Like, what are we doing? Like, I might have gave up. You know, it might not have been fun for me. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It's hard to say the what ifs, but like,
yeah,
she didn't do that, and because she didn't do that, I had a shot, right? And same thing goes for Dev. I mean, Dev didn't play baseball. Dev didn't really enjoy football the way I did, but he loved basketball, and he enjoyed playing ball, right? And so like, he got to get the same support, and I tried to be the same way for him. But like, if Dev was like, no, I got a basketball game, I'm not going to do this for you, like, who knows?
That's good. It sounds like what I'm gathering is that your family is very selfless.
I mean, it definitely feels that way. You know, I think, I mean, yeah, I would describe them that way for sure.
Yeah, that's so nice.
I'm probably the most selfish one, to be honest.
Selfless.
Oh no, but I'm saying I'm the most selfish.
Okay, I was like, I hope you heard me correctly.
No, I did. I for sure did. No. They are selfless. They've got each other's backs. I've definitely been the most taking. I mean, I try to give when I can, but I mean, I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate to have them. Very blessed.
Good for you. Yeah. That's happy to hear. I love that. I was going to ask because you mentioned like, I don't know the injuries that you have endured, but in terms of your baseball career, what has been the most difficult part of your career? I know, sorry, it's a tough one. We'll get to the good stuff.
Yeah, that's a tough one. We're for sure gonna go past. We're for sure going past 40 minutes. We're for sure. You say you try to cut it at 40.
It's fine.
I think the toughest part of my career. That answer's changed.
Okay. Yeah.
For different periods, right? I think, and I'll just talk about professional. You know, like first couple years, the toughest part was learning how to be a professional. You know, baseball is strange because early on when you're in those lower levels, like I was 22. I was about to turn 22 when I signed. Mm-hmm. So when I got drafted, I was about to turn 22. The guys I was hanging around with, like I had teammates that were fresh out of high school.
Really? Wait, that had just signed.
They had just signed as well because you get drafted out of high school.
Yeah. Okay.
And so there were guys that get just drafted out of high school. Mm-hmm. Maybe they were 2 years in. So like I'm 22. This guy's 19. Then you got Latin players that are 18 to 22, don't speak hardly any English. But everybody, I mean, you're young men, mm-hmm. and you're kind of in this limbo between high school, college, and like an adult making decisions and the decisions you make, right? So like, there's so many avenues to take, and so trying to figure out how to be professionals can be tough for guys, right? Yeah. Showing up on time, you know, mm-hmm. Going to bed on time. And drinking water, you know, like alcohol's a real thing. Like guys stay up late and they go out and they party and they have fun, and like eating well, how to navigate relationships with your teammates and coaching staff when now we're getting paid to do this. Yeah. The first thing that I learned when I got into professional baseball was you don't call them coach. What do you call them? Unless you're joking. Like now I'll say, oh, what's up, coach? Like as a joke. Uh-huh. No, you call them by their name. Really? In baseball, it's not football. In professional football, in the NFL, it's Coach Johnson, Coach whatever. Uh-huh. That's what Caleb told me. In baseball, like it's a nickname or it's a name.
I'm trying to think of my coach's names. What would I call them? First name? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're not saying coach, really.
Yeah. Well, my first pitch, I try to call him, hey, what's up, coach? He goes, don't do that. It's either Bird or Mike, because his name is Mike Parrott. So he's like, either call me Mike, my name, call him my nickname, which is Bird. I'm like, oh, so we don't call nobody coach. He goes, nope, you better learn the names because you're working with them now. But you don't work for them, you're working with them. Yeah. It's like, oh, all right. But like, it took me a long time to break out of that because a month prior, I was like, if I called Coach Hallmark Pat, I was running till I was sick. Yeah. And so early on, it was about trying to figure out how to be a professional, right? Yeah. Then after that, you kind of get in the hang of it. You kind of get the ebbs and flow. And I would say that's when I got called up for the first time, like right in the 2019, 2021 range, where I was kind of going up and down. Okay. The hardest part of that was trying to figure out how to be a big leaguer. Okay. One, and like trying to, depends on who you are, but like one thing I really struggled with was like imposter syndrome and like feeling like I was actually a big leaguer. Yeah. Cause like obviously like I was pitching in the big leagues, pitching on TV, pitching in like, I mean,
doing the thing.
It was awesome. The coolest thing I've ever done in my life. But not really knowing, like trusting, like, yeah, like I'm supposed to be here. I am here and I'm supposed to be here. And this is what I do. And so you're kind of navigating that while also like, I mean, in baseball, it can get difficult, especially like you can get difficult because like you get options, you get called up, sit down. So like that year I didn't know where I was gonna sleep at most nights. Like I get called up, pitch in the big leagues, but like maybe I didn't know if I was gonna be on a flight the next day and be sleeping back in Reno. I don't know. So trying to navigate that, like the inconsistency, right? So like the unknown of what's happening was really hard.
How did you deal with that?
I don't think I did, to be honest. Or you know what? I take that back. You always deal with it, right? Yeah. You always deal with everything. So like, I think one thing that I started doing was like tried to control the things that I could, but I tried to control them so hard. So it's like what I'm eating, right? What I'm drinking, you know,
you
good
controlled
or bad.
everything like well. Everything that was in your control, you tried to do it.
But yeah,
You're saying it was too much, maybe?
Well,
or you're saying that's what helped?
When it like you cling to the to the things you can't control, right? And like by doing that, especially once you realize, I mean, once you understand the psychology of like, okay, I can't control this.
Yes.
I need to let this go.
Yes.
You go like you kind of go with the flow.
Yep.
But then like the things that you can't control, because we all want a little sense of control.
Yes.
Especially when you're high level anything. I started to develop okay, you know what? I'm gonna cling to my routine. So when I'm in AAA, when I'm starting, I have my routine. Like I had every day planned out to the hour, to the 30-minute mark, to the 10-minute mark. Like I knew where I was gonna be and what I was gonna be doing. The problem is once you start incorporating other people, right? That may not actually even be in that world, but now other people start coming in the world, significant others, you know, or friends, even family, like you can become a little crazy and kind of get stressed out and like stress them out. And it's like, it's a not fun thing. So I think that's
it's hard to adapt to that as well. It's hard to integrate lifestyles whenever it's very different if it's not the same.
Absolutely. And so I think that's kind of why I was like, I don't know if I did, because like I don't know if I did it great all the time, right? Like we're human. But in that season, it was like trying to navigate the unknown.
Okay.
And then I would say from like 22 on to now, the hardest part really has just been kind of getting out of the mindset of I'm injury ridden. Oh, I'm when you get into athletics, you meet older people that are like, oh, you know what? I was really good at this, but you know, I blew up my knee, and if I'd never blown up my knee, and you know, I just couldn't get healthy, couldn't stay healthy. This, that, I would have been I would have been a Hall of Fame. Cool. I kind of found myself in that scenario where like, I mean, yeah, like I don't feel old. I'm not.
You're not old
in life. I'm not old. In clubhouses now, for where I'm at in my career, some people might see me a little old.
Same.
And they kind of go, what happened? You know, because also my journey, like I was a prospect, like I was fairly highly touted and had a promising future. And like, I mean, it's baseball, things happen. But like a lot of people have asked me, what happened to you? And it's like, daggone, bro, hold on. Whoa, I don't even know you, bro. But
are these personal people? These are people that you know asking that, or strangers, or
like? It could be teammates. Okay. It could be fans that, you know, like sometimes you go out there and you just like have a couple minutes and you still go out there, you might sign a couple autographs and like hang out and go sit there and talk to a kid, or you might be just shooting the breeze and like somebody feels a little comfortable and they go, hey dude, so what happened? And you're like, what do you mean? You're like, you were supposed to be the man. I'm like,
thanks.
Appreciate you. In my mind, like, it's like, yeah, I don't know what happened. Like that, who is that guy? And so I think now, like the last 2.5, 3 years, like I'm realizing that like I don't have to hold on to that anymore. I'm healthy. I can stay healthy. Yes, I've gotten older in number of years. Physically, I feel younger, and my stuff has gotten better. I feel like I'm better now, right? So it's just like continuing to kind of improve the product, right? And trying to focus more on the psychology of it and realizing like I'm not broken. We're not broken. Things are okay. Let's go have some fun. Let's go play some ball and play like they're picking the MVP, right? Like we're kind of getting back on track. So, yeah.
It's a journey and it's a grind.
Absolutely.
And I was talking to, I'm going to have him on soon, but you know Dame Myers?
Yeah. I'm
having him on later in December, but I spoke to his friend because they have like an apparel brand right now. But he was his friend Ryan who shout out Easygoing is their line. Yeah. He mentioned that like Dane's his best friend, so he saw it from like a best friend point of view of like the ups and downs, the ins and outs, and like just obviously you miss so much. It's such a commitment, but it's so tough to stay in it. And I was gonna say, like, one of my questions here, especially as a baseball player, because you're in and out, you're one day, you like you said, you don't know where you're gonna sleep, but like how is that? Because I can't relate in that sense. I can relate in like having to grind it out and like you're not making much, you're in like a random country, and then you finally like build your resume and then you're there.
Yeah.
But how does it work for you? And how do you deal with it? Like, are you on a team and you sign a contract and like that's it, you're there for a year? Or is it like if you're doing well, you stay, and you're doing not, you drop? What does it look like?
So now it's, you got to earn your food, you know? So you'll go into spring, like this past year is a good example of that.
Okay.
This past season, so I signed with the New York Mets going to minor league spring training. Signed a little late, but it was like, hey, we have an extra spot in camp. We'll bring him in. So I went in there, and the goal was to go to AAA, be in the bullpen, and pitch well, and hopefully get to the big leagues with the Mets. First couple months of the season, I stunk. I was horrible. I mean, just not me. I don't recognize that guy. I felt fine, but like inconsistency. I didn't pitch good. So I got let go in June.
Okay.
So they dropped me. I lost my insurance, or actually the Mets are great. They actually continue to insure you for a couple months after, but normally like you lose your insurance and everything. So I was back at home in Phoenix.
Okay.
And you kind of just have to figure out what to do. What do you want to do from there? Like, okay, do I go train? Do I try to get better? And then do I try to get picked up? Do I just kind of chill, rest, and then see if something happens? Do I go play independent ball? Do I humble myself and go play in another league or another country and see if I can get out of there? Like there's so many different avenues. And so what I ended up doing is I went going to the Milwaukee area, playing in it's an independent, unaffiliated league with a team there, the Lake Country Dockhounds. They let me go out there, make some starts. And then I got picked up by the Dodgers after that because I was throwing well. The Dodgers liked me. So they said, hey, come on. So they picked up my contract. They bought me out. I went out to them and finished the year with them. You know, it's kind of keep going as the hand is hot, you know?
Wow.
So it's just like there's so many different avenues, and like the grind is very real. I don't think 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, I don't think I would have ever told you I would go and play indie ball, you know? But this summer it made sense. This summer, I realized I love this game. I rediscovered that I love this game. And that was probably exactly where I needed to be at the right time.
What do you love about it, or what do you think you rediscovered? Because I do love hearing that about sports, because your relationship with sport is your relationship. Yeah. And so it's not always like highs high. Like it's up and down. Of course, we know that. And you've got to like pull yourself out of the funk. You've got to hype yourself up when you're doing well. You've got to stay there. It's, you know, it's cheesy, but yes, it's not a linear it's not linear. So yeah, what made you fall back in love with it, or what are you loving about it right now? There's so many factors. It's I've always known this. I've known this since I was a kid. My dad kind of made it known. He was like, I love how the game of baseball is so nuanced. There's no solve. There's no right answer. There's no, if I do this every single time, then I win. It doesn't happen that way. I mean, you could throw a pitch above Jose Altuve's head and he'll hit it for a homer. It happens. Can't explain it, but it's so beautiful that something so obscure, when you think about the actual X's and O's of it, can happen. I could bounce a pitch and a guy could swing and he could get a base hit. He's done. Vladimir Guerrero did it. You know, ball bounced and he got a base hit. Like what in the world? If you throw the best pitch, you could throw the best pitch and somebody could just close their eyes, run into it. It could be a homer. Or you could throw the worst pitch, middle. You think it's going to slide. It spins, it stays straight, and they swing through it. What in the world? I think so
it's
you
beautiful.
could do everything right, or you could do everything wrong, and it's still...
There's the potential, right? Like, I think every day that there will never be a baseball game that you go, or rather, every baseball game you go to, you could see something and you can go, I've never seen that before. Have you seen that before? You've never seen that before? Dog, you're going to be a Hall of Famer. How many games? You got drafted. You debuted in 2004. You've been in the big leagues for 14 years and you've never seen that? Wow. You know, or just being under the lights, no matter what stadium you are, every now and then when you kind of take yourself out and you go, I made money to sit here in a uniform today, watch a baseball game, see some crazy stuff, and like chirp with some fans and made a kid's day. Like this kid literally lost his mind because me, of all people, I walked up and he didn't ask me for nothing. I said, "Hey, how are you doing today? Good to see you." And gave him some knuckles. The kid lost his mind. It's beautiful. To have that much power is so scary, but it's beautiful when it's used and you have the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
And then what really did for me this summer was in indie ball, which doesn't really happen for me too much now. And like when I'm in affiliated baseball, like with the team, like I'm usually in AAA or the big leagues. Mm-hmm. So like most people are on the older side, 20. When I say older side, like 24 and older. Most people, you'll have the young guys, but like this year when I was this summer playing indie ball, I was playing with kids that were fresh out of college. Like they had just graduated college. They've never played any type of professional baseball. They're green. They don't know nothing about ball. And like when I tell you, I think I'm naive and I don't know nothing about ball because I play with Hall of Famers. I felt like these kids didn't know anything. They looked at me with these wide eyes. Like they're like, holy smokes, teach us more. And I'm like, dude, we're just talking about ball. This is so much fun because like you don't know, but you're just a sponge. I get to share what I do know, and I get to relearn what I thought what I forgot. And it kind of repaved those pathways of like, yo, nothing is right, nothing is wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing will be the same. And in the same scenario today, if you have it tomorrow, completely different outcome.
Yes.
Holy smokes, right? Like the game, you have to finish it. There's no kneeling. There's no holding the ball. Like, nope, the last pitch, the last out's got to be made. It's incredible to me. I think it's just, it's so hard that it's fun, you know, like it's so hard.
I think what you described, because I like baseball, and when I was younger I loved to watch it, but I'd never even played softball. But I always realized that I realized that baseball is so unpredictable all the time. But for a player, like I always wondered, like, what is that like and how do you do that? And when I went to college, my first year, I went to Morehead State University up in Kentucky, and we were good friends with the baseball team. So we'd hang out with the baseball guys, and I never realized how much time you guys commit to practice, or how much time you have to practice for one moment, or for, I don't know how long, maybe like 4 hours, you know what I'm saying? But for us, it's like an hour and a half practice, we're done next day. And we'll have film and like weight room and all that, but you guys put in so much more time. It's truly like an 8-hour day.
Which is nuts. I think the stat was in a baseball game, this might be before they brought in the pitch clock, right? But it's like, you're really only moving, like doing something for like 8 minutes.
Oh my God.
You know, it's like there's a lot of standing around, and like you could be the shortstop and never get a ground ball. But you know what? In practice, I'm gonna take 100 ground balls and I'm gonna work on this glove work, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm ready just in case.
Exactly.
Because who would have thought that, like, I mean, Chris Bryant coming across in 2016 World Series to feel the ground ball, he slips, makes the throw to Rizzo, and that's the World Series, right? Like guys are doing those ground balls, and like they might not have that in the back of their head, but it's like, I don't even know if, I mean, Chris might not even had a chance that game until the very last play, and it broke the drought, right? Like it's
necessary. So
necessary.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I realized that baseball is a huge game of statistics and repetition.
It's all odds.
Yes.
All odds and just randomness.
Crazy.
Yeah. Crazy. I could be faster than you. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Stronger. Doesn't matter.
Very fascinating.
Doesn't matter. Soccer matters to an extent, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, definitely.
Football matters. Basketball matters. Baseball doesn't matter. Just doesn't.
But a lot of things do. And it's like, so.
A lot of things do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, baseball's so fascinating. But it was really sweet to like sit and hear you talk about the love of the game, because I feel like I could feel the same way that you felt right now talking about baseball, about soccer too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even like we know whenever you're talking with kids, or just like, it's now that we're getting older, it's nice to be able to like pass on the information. Like that's kind of why I made this platform, like pass on any athletic information so that someone who's listening can like hear it, because we didn't really have these resources when we were younger. Like you've got someone to talk to, you've got someone you look up to, like an idol maybe, or a player that you are really motivated by, but they didn't have like that older brother figure or that older sister figure, or like someone like, hey, I'll show you, like, this is how it is.
Yeah.
And then for them to be a sponge as well, and like they teach you. I
Absolutely.
love being a teacher or coach because you're actually learning so much from your students and kids that they don't know it, but you know it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like
So
you
you're
forget
probably
the
still
fun-
learning a bunch.
I mean, I was, you know what, and this is just crazy. I was having a conversation, this was yesterday on Instagram with a guy that I played with this summer. His name is Luke, aka Mustache. And I truly believe that this kid, he's going to be good and he's competitive. And he was missing the point on some of the mental stuff, like being too frustrated, right? All the things we say, like, oh, you can't control that. Luke, Mustache, let it go. You can't control that. Think about it a different way.
Yep.
And he's out here. He's out, not here. He's out in, I think he's in North Carolina training, and it's going well. And I think it's going to set him up for a great year. And he was kind of just telling me, he goes, man, like those conversations that we had, like, thank you for sitting in, like just sitting there and taking the time to sit there with me and just talk things through. And I was like, he goes, I learned so much. And I feel like I'm so much better, not even from a pitching standpoint, but just like, I don't get as mad or frustrated anymore, you know, like understanding that it's going to be okay. And it's a process. And I said, Luke, he goes, so thank you for that. And if there's anything I could ever do for you, I know it's not transactional, but like, if there's anything I can ever help you with, let me know. I said, Luke, you already have.
Yeah.
Part of you being in there and having those conversations with me prevented me from not showing up the next day.
Yep.
I mean,
and they don't know it,
you know,
but yeah.
You don't know it. Like at this point, like, do I need to keep playing baseball to survive? Like, no, I love baseball. So I keep playing it because I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, like at some point I'd like my life to start progressing. It's hard to progress your life, playing a professional sport and being in the stage of this sport and this journey that I'm in right now. But like, I would like that to progress, but like, as long as I can play this game, you know, and feel the love and the passion and the fire for the game that I feel right now, I gotta do it. You know, it's, I got to, it's just, the fuel's too good. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm running on 93 right now, not 87. I'm running on 93.
Good.
And yeah, so it's been good. Luke, if you ever see this on the gram or anything, bro, love you. Appreciate your mustache. Yeah.
Well, also, while you were saying that, sorry, this is just my like ADHD kicking in. You look like an offensive coordinator right now, or like a football coach with your hat and in the mic.
Hey, can we please see what offense they're running? Yep. Okay, can we get that from the top? Yep. Hey, make sure the quarterback knows that. All right, because I don't think he's seeing it. We need to get this guy before I start yelling. I need a clipboard. That's what I need, a pen.
Yeah, and
like
then
Coach
you get the full
Holgerson.
outfit.
Yeah, pen on a string from Coach Holgerson.
Okay, it's back in.
Sorry.
No, it's for me. I did that. With injuries, I wanted to talk about injuries and then a little more advice to kind of close it out. But injuries wise, I had my fair share. You've had your fair share. What? Let's see. How has it affected your career, and what types of injuries did you endure, and then how long did they kind of set you out or set you back?
So how do I frame it? So my injuries, fortunately, have all been like non-surgical. Okay. It's all been like soft tissue stuff, or like stuff kind of shuts down. So like maybe a muscle stops elevating my scap, so then my shoulder's impinging, right? Or an oblique strain, hammy strain, stuff like that. No repairs needed. Just kind of, I mean, outside of that meniscus.
Okay.
What was that?
Like
12 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, but everything's kind of been soft tissue. The problem is, so like what it's done in my career, it's kind of like when you get an injury, it kind of stops you. You kind of halt in your break. You kind of you got to stop, you know, right in the tracks. You can't progress. Yep. You can't perform. So you can't make any strides or convince anybody that you're good and they need you at the next level. It just kind of stops you.
It's an actual pause. It's a life pausing you.
And in a lot of cases now, like they go, well, can they stay healthy? Like, are they worth the investment? Like, should we keep investing in this? You know? And so sometimes like it puts you back, sets you back. In baseball, what makes it hard about injuries is a lot of, I would say the progress in like skill development, it's compounding. So like the more you do it, the more reps you get, the better you go. So like a healthy pitcher, like the more you throw, the better your accuracy gets. And like usually like the better your muscles respond. So like you start throwing a little bit harder. And so you get injured, you got to start over and you kind of got to get the accuracy back or the velocity back and all this stuff. Same thing with swinging, like seeing pitches, like you get good at the pattern recognition and like seeing like, okay, this is what 95 looks like. This is what 95 looks like. You get hurt, you sit on your couch and you're doing rehab and you can't get in the box. 95 looks like a lot harder. And so it's kind of like you lose that game speed that you developed, right?
Yeah.
On top of now the actual skill, which a lot of it is accuracy based and like it's ballistic. And so that kind of really gets hard. Like I've had a couple shoulder impingements, a couple hamstrings, an oblique, I mean, some just stuff like, I mean, a couple collarbones, you know, from football days, but yeah, nothing too crazy that's kept me out for like a year at a time, but like a couple months here, couple months there.
So longest like injury setback with like 2 months, 2, 3, 4?
I would say the longest one was 6 months. Yeah, I had a bad hamstring, no surgery, but like
what'd you do in practice?
I was sprinting in off season. I was moving, big boy, going, but like I was running like a football player, doing some silly stuff. I was really rolling, but
Did
like
you pull it?
Yeah, grade 3, almost like yeah, so you still feel the hole. Yeah.
That's so painful.
Yeah. But that one kind of just took a long time to heal. And then after that, kind of just my body just had to relearn like where the hamstring was attached and how I was going to pull and all that stuff. So it kind of took a little bit longer, but yeah, I would say that was the hardest one.
What team were you on at that time?
So I had actually done that. That was winter, almost 2 years ago to the day. I did that right before I was with the Phillies. And so they helped me rehab that until I just wasn't getting healthy. So we ended up parting ways mid-June that year.
Okay.
So like into 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Yeah. Tough.
But in like advice for other athletes is that injuries do happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, can you prevent them? No. Can you try and make them less likely? Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's the goal.
That's the goal. You know, it's just putting yourself in a position to mitigate the risk.
Exactly.
Right. And there's nothing that makes the risk for injuries go up like having injuries.
Yeah.
You know, it's like.
And take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself. I mean,
do it properly.
Go to sleep, drink your water, mind your business, eat good food, go through the process the right way. What is the, there's an, I almost said an old adage. How old am I? I was about to say it's like a cliche or a idiom is like, hey, if you do it right the first way or the first time, you don't have to do it a second time. But you do it half whatever. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Do it half-ass the first time, then you have to redo it and you'll have to do it again the second time. You know, it's just going to take more time.
Yep.
And who even knows if you're setting yourself up right the first time. Just do it right the first time. Mm-hmm. All the reps, you know. I have definitely cut my fair share of corners on reps, and like I'll admit that.
And it bites you in the ass.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And more so mentally than physically. You know, it's like once you do get back in the box or back on the mound or back on the pitch, like you're looking at the person and going, did I out-prepare this person? Maybe you don't have the confidence that you were looking for. So just go about it the right way. There's so much confidence to be had just in the knowing that you prepared for the moment the right way.
Exactly. Yeah. I was going to ask, I mean, you said it anyway, but I was going to ask if you could give advice to somebody who is a baseball player as well, kind of in your similar position or fresh out of college. But like, what advice would you give them in terms of like preparing for injuries or what to do when you are injured? Like if someone's injured, someone's a baseball player, they're headed in the same trajectory that you are, what would you say to prepare them for a potential injury?
I would say never prepare for a potential injury. Not trying to undermine you, but like just one, you gotta try and keep your mind clear, and keep your mind clear and like trust in yourself and trust in your body that you have prepared. And the only way to do that is to prepare. I think you can definitely set yourself up good in the event that an injury comes, and that's by being on top of your health, right? Like having, let's say, like you have high levels of protective cholesterol and like you have high testosterone, and you make sure that you do things to have your health in order, because there are lifestyle choices that you can make that affects your ability to recover and to rebuild tissue. Some people just do build tissue faster, you know, some people build muscle faster. building, like coming back from a hamstring strain, it's building muscle. You know, it's a tear, and you got to get built through muscle, and then you got to align that muscle, and so drinking water, eating the right things, getting sleep first and foremost, like all that matters. And the people, the guys, the gals that like recover well and they do it for a long time and end up potentially having fewer injuries, they're the people that do that the most consistently, right? Yeah. I would just say, like, make the conscious effort to make the right choices. And I'm not saying you got to be straight edge and you can't go out and have a fun night, or you can't drink alcohol, or you can't you can't have fun, or what you deem as fun, right? Like, or you can't make mistakes. Like, give yourself some grace. There are going to be times, even if you're like, nah, I want to make sure I get good sleep tonight, I'm going to eat good food, I'm going to drink this, but you know what? I had a flight, I scheduled it well. I was ahead of it. Guess what? We got delayed. So I had to spend an extra 2 hours in the airport. And was it the best healthy options in the airport? No. I drank water, great. But you know what? I got in 2 hours later. Now I'm going to sleep. It's 1:30. I didn't get to the hotel till it's 1:30. Like, give yourself some grace. Don't get married to this thing and think that this thing runs your life, or the Whoop band, or whatever it is.
What is that?
It's an Oura ring. So like I started wearing, oh my bad.
Sorry, no, I'm just like,
it's like, it helps measure recovery and everything, you know? And like, I wear this because I started wearing this because I was like, I'm dealing with injuries. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to try and take advantage of every avenue that I can to see if I can get an upper hand on this thing. Like, okay, how's my HRV looking? When I sleep, am I actually sleeping, or do I just think I'm sleeping, or what? And what I noticed is early on, I cared about what these devices said so much that I actually got inhibited by it, like slowed down by it. Like I wouldn't, like if I woke up and I had a bad recovery, I couldn't get my mind out of that and go, oh, I can go perform, or I can go work out. I fixated what? And like I took the Whoop band off for the first time in a long time, and like I thought my arm raised because it was so light. It's like my arm was so heavy, psychologically I was like, oh, I gave this too much credit.
Yeah, you gave too much power, too much control.
Way too much. Now it's just a tool that like I wear this because tonight I have a workout. I'm a grown man. If a buddy calls me and says, hey, let's go get a beer, like I go grab a beer with my buddy. Normally, like, yeah, go grab a beer, have 2 beers, and like go to bed. This kind of is another fail safe because I just hate seeing the red score or a low score. So I use this to try and compete with myself and going, I'm gonna see how high I can get my recovery score, Awesome. So like it helps me make better decisions, right? Even though like I don't need this to not go get drunk or
I hope they
stay
can
out late. That would be beautiful.
I'm sold.
That'd be beautiful. This is not a paid advertisement. But it's definitely been one of those things where it's like I like the game of it.
Yeah.
And it's a tool that kind of helps me kind of determine, okay, do I want to go hard today? Do I need to give myself a break? It kind of gives me a look on the inside. Granted, it's just a ring. It's just an infrared light on my finger. It's not pure science, but it's good enough. But you find it
beneficial.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Because this is a perfect transition, because I was going to ask about the balance between like lifestyle choices and then lifestyle choices outside of sport, and then lifestyle choices you have to make because you are an athlete. I know this, but there are so many sacrifices, a lot of things that you miss, and then a lot of things that you are different for you because this is the path that you chose to take your career seriously as a professional athlete. You're clearly good at what you do, which is how you made it to this level. But what advice, or what would you credit your success to, and like in terms of lifestyle choices? Like, what did you do differently that maybe somebody didn't do and that's why they won't make it?
Oh, that's such a hard
It's a time to brag.
It's a tough.
It's a time to brag a little bit. Or give some advice. Like, if you want to make it here, you have to do X, Y, Z, or you have to give up this, or you got to think this way.
I think, you know what? I'm gonna go a little bit of a different path. Okay. I'm gonna go something that I'm actually not good at.
Okay.
I believe the people that actually the athletes that end up having the best chance of succeeding, more times than not, find themselves not comparing themselves or their journey to others. I'm constant. I struggle with that. Comparing. I compare all the time, and it's most of the time it's actually healthy. Mm-hmm. I find it healthy because it's like it's a competitive frame, right? Like a buddy of mine's doing something or he's working out, maybe in the weight room. Like I'm stronger. I'm gonna push a little bit more weight.
Yes.
Or, you know what? We're competing. My teammate started today. He went 6 innings, 3 runs, quality start, great start. I'm going tomorrow. Same team, same lineup. Now let me see if I can do 6 with 2 runs or less. I'm gonna go 6. I'm gonna go 6, no runs. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna perform better, but like that's healthy.
Yeah, that's a healthy competition. That's healthy, right? Yeah.
There's a fine line though where it's you see somebody your age. Like I'll just speak on myself. I see somebody my age, mm-hmm. maybe they've made more money, they stayed healthier. And I'm going, or I think I'm better than them. And I go, mm-hmm. And I'm going, I'm a better pitcher. I got better stuff. On the mound, I can do better. But guess what? You haven't, and you haven't been in that position. So let it go. You can't control anything right here. Mm-hmm. Don't let it go. You can't control it. That has nothing to do with you. That man's life, that man's career has nothing to do with you. Don't compare yourself to other people's journeys. Now, I think there is like the intrinsic motivation where it's like, nah, I gotta go get mine because I'm gonna go work because I'm gonna go work hard. And like some people need that. Mm-hmm. I like the intrinsic motivation. Like I like working out with people and like being around people and like having that like that team atmosphere, but also like you're trying to outdo me. I know you are. I'm trying to get you to. Yeah. I love you to death, kid, but you're not gonna get me, right? It's kind of that. Like I would just say like things that I've noticed. Like people are on their own journey. When somebody's like really doing their thing, they're not really concerned with me.
Yeah.
Now they might have that little bit of intrinsic motivation. Like, oh, you pitched well. Okay, great. Hey, great job tonight. I'm gonna one up you tomorrow. Watch this. Okay. Hey, what you got? I did this. Now what are you gonna do? But where it gets a little bit too far, then you're slowing yourself down. You're hitting the brakes on yourself.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like I've done that to myself at times. Trying to realize that and get out of that has been something else. But it'd be easy for me to sit here and say, hey, eat your vegetables, eat your cauliflower, you'll go big and strong, right? Or drink water. You know, hey, add a little salt to your water every now and then, help with the hydration. Actually, you know, it's like, I mean, all those things. Like I've gone down rabbit holes, Siobhan, right? And yeah, I mean, I know people that have succeeded in baseball. They don't sleep. I know people that have succeeded in baseball. They drink a lot. Mm-hmm. They don't sleep. They drink a lot. They you know what? I know people in baseball that actually don't work out. They don't necessarily practice all that hard. Like some people, I'm gonna look at the camera when I say this. Some people are just better. They're just good. And it is working out for them, right? And so like you find yourself comparing yourselves and like going, I do everything right.
I know you're like, I'm doing everything I'm meant to be doing. Yeah. Why do I not have what they have? I feel
like I'm making the best decisions I can with the information I have today. Why do I feel like crap? Why do I wake up and my body doesn't feel good? Why do I wake up? Why am I getting so sore? Why does my elbow hurt? Why is this? Why is that? Why me? Bang.
That's true.
Yeah. In like less than a minute. That was incredible. And you can't control that. It doesn't matter. All you can do is continue to make the decisions that you want to make and stand by them, right? Like I think one thing that has actually helped or kind of coerced or caused me to be so adamant about the decisions that I make. And granted, I'm not 100%, I'm probably an 80-20 kind of guy. Where like I'm 80% of the time I try to make the right decisions and do the healthy thing or do the right thing. Like 20% I kind of give myself grace and say, all right, I can't have such a tight grip. Like otherwise I'm going to slip far. But like I'm an 80-20 guy. But I think part of that 80 is the fact that I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, if I get to the end of this road and my career is over with, I'm no longer a professional athlete because the game is going to end. I'm not going to play till I die. hopefully not, like at some point, like I'm going to get too old
Yeah.
and I'm just not gonna be able to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And when I get to that day, when that day comes, I want to be able to look back on my career and go, do I have any regrets? Did I go about it in a way that I feel proud of and comfortable in? Or am I going to have hey, what if you would have drank more water?
Yeah.
What if you would have slept more? What if you would have stopped trying to compare yourself? What if all these what ifs, right? Like the what ifs freak me out.
What ifs are crazy.
They freak me out.
You could go down, talk about a rabbit hole. What? Yeah, I'm not a what if person, thank God, but I have been there before at certain times, and the what if can drive you insane. You can drive yourself crazy.
Oh yeah. And so I'm doing what I can, like me having my emotional support water bottle, me trying to like cook good meals and like eat good meals and trying to sleep early and like all that stuff. Like that is me trying to safeguard myself against the potential what ifs, right? And like call it what you want, but I know that when it's all said and done, I'll feel proud of the way that I went about it. Just as like some people, like they don't necessarily take the professionalism or the need for professionalism. They don't take it so important. So like they might well get out of the game and go, yeah, did people really like me? Maybe not. Did they think I was fun? Sure. Like did I have all this respect? No, but like I want to be able to walk out of the game as a player and go, you know what? I think I went about it the right way professionally. I think I was good to my teammates. I think I was good to my staff and coaches, and like I was a good coworker, right?
Yep.
I want to believe I was good to the fans.
Yeah.
And I want to think I was good to myself, right? Like I think like those kind of things, you kind of go about it in a way that like protects your future self. I think in a sense, like I'm protecting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to set up my present self, but also like protect my future self from those.
You're living in a way that protects you and sets you up for success. And it's conservative, but it's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's the way to go about it. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, grew up with a lawyer for a father,
Really?
So, yeah, my pops was a lawyer. So like,
it all makes sense.
Early on, like he had a tendency to like think of like the worst case scenario. Okay, prepare for the worst, right? Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So I'm like, let me drink my water, because if I get to the end of my career,
we're not taking chances.
If I get to the end of my career and it's like, I couldn't stay healthy, and then somebody goes, why couldn't you stay healthy? And I'm like, man, you know what? It's because I was out drinking and partying all the time, and like I didn't give myself a chance. Will I be okay with that? I won't. Personally, I won't. Not saying like everybody needs to be like that or be like me, because you don't, and like a lot of guys aren't like that. Like that's just my personality.
But you probably have comfort knowing that you controlled the things you can control.
Absolutely.
You influenced the things that you could, and
Absolutely.
you went about it the way that you think is the best for you. And the way that the cards fall is the way that the cards fall. And you'll be happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point now, like I know that every day I get a baseball is a gift. And looking back, every day that I've gotten a baseball is a gift. I mean, I'm not the kid that, my mom would tell you I grew up saying, I'm going to be a professional athlete. I'm going to be a professional baseball player. I'm going to play in the MLB. I don't remember ever thinking that or saying that. I don't. I remember watching Remember the Titans with Cole Angel, watching the scene where Julius and Gary were like in the neighborhood, and they're looking like at the old people living in the cul-de-sac. Black dude and white dude sitting in the cul-de-sac. And I was like, yeah, cool. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go LSU. We're going to go enjoy this. We're going to go and like, we're going to grow old. We're going to live in a cul-de-sac together. It was my best friend growing up. Like, and I remember like thinking that, and so looking back, I'm like, how did we end up here other than by the grace of God and a supportive family? And the fact that I got my mom's arms and legs. I got my dad's torso. I ended up being the height I am with the build I am. Like, nobody else really in my family is shaped like me. It's crazy. Like, it's a perfect storm. You couldn't draw it up. And yeah, just being in the class I was, cause like when we moved from Dubai, I could have gone into the 2012 class.
Right.
They held me back. My mom, or the counselor told my mom, hey, he's got a summer birthday, hold him back a year.
Yeah.
Because he'll have another year of maturity. He'll be more of a leader in this class potentially. And that class had Ryan Capel, Cole Angel, Ryan O'Burke, all the guys that I ended up playing baseball with and got me into baseball and kept me in baseball.
Yeah.
The class above was Trey, Jarrett, Jalen, like those are the basketball players, basketball and football, right? And like, I don't even know if I would have played baseball.
Right.
If I
it's just crazy to think the way that your life like panned out.
Yeah.
Just by the small choices.
Little choices.
It's crazy. Blue pill, red pill.
Bang. Yeah. So, I mean, who knows?
It's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful journey.
Yeah. I will. So to close it out, what I like to do is give my guests the floor to either give more advice, give a shout out to anyone, or say a quote or something, but some sort of like inspirational advice, if you will. I feel like you've said a lot, obviously, throughout this episode, a lot that people can take away. But if you have anything,
I mean,
the floor is yours.
This podcast I know is tailored more to the athlete, right? And so it's like, I think from the aspect like of defining what your goals are, right? And seeing like what do you want out of this? Yeah. Like and it can change. Early on, when I first started playing sports, I was hanging with my friends, and I was having fun playing with my friends.
Yeah.
And then it kind of transitioned into maybe I can get college paid for. Maybe I can go to a good school and get college paid for and like set myself up and go be a boss somewhere. Cool. And then very quickly that transitioned into like, I might be able to make some money having some fun. Cool, let's do that.
Yeah.
And then it transitioned to like, no, I want to be good at this thing. I'm not just trying to get a little, like I'm not trying to get a check. I'm like, I want to be good at this. And it's ever evolving, right? And so like, I think like when you set up goals, you can set them up in the 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, whatever, but giving the space for it to change, but just having the awareness and allowing yourself to reflect and go, what is important to me right now helps. Like right now, like I know why I'm playing baseball outside of the love of the game and like the fact that it's just beautiful, right? Like,
yeah. You know what your goals are.
I know what my goals are. I know I know when I show up to the field, I know why I'm there.
You know your purpose. That's so good. And it's good the way that you led off with saying like your goals have changed, because I'm so goal oriented and like I help people how to set goals and it's ever changing. So like you can obviously achieve a goal and then it's what now, and achieve a goal and then what now. Yeah. But yeah, sorry, keep going.
I mean, the thing is like, and the thing is like half of those goals, like, I mean, some of those goals like kind of got accomplished, but a lot of those goals kind of got morphed before I could even accomplish them. And you kind of just roll with the punches. Exactly. But like, it's the
adapt and overcome.
Yeah. The adapt, overcome, but also like that reflection of just like where you're at right now, like kind of meeting you where your feet are, or meeting you where your mind is. And like being okay with that, like there was a time where like, and that time may be now where I'm like, I'm playing ball because I'm trying to make some money and like stack up some money so then I can get on my life and like be comfortable and have financial freedom, right? To live life and like do things that I want to do. And then at the same time, there's the goal of, well, when I show up to the field and a dad or a mom brings their kid to the stadium, they're going to walk out of that stadium and go, it's cool to be a good person. Like, and I don't know, I mean, I do take faith into account. So like, I want kids to leave a baseball stadium and go, wow, okay, yeah, you can be a professional baseball player. You can be a professional athlete. Yeah. And like be a Christian, right? Yeah. And like be
loud about it.
Be loud about it. Like I like, especially on start day, like on days I'm starting, I'll say 2 prayers. It's part of my routine. When I'm log tossing, before I get on like the mound to like start warming up, like when I'm long tossing, at the very after I long toss and I'm about to start bringing it in, catch the last one from the catcher or whoever I'm throwing with, take my hat off, take a knee. And I do it out there intentionally because it's like usually it's out there by myself and like people are watching me. I know people are watching me. So am I doing it for sure? Absolutely. Am I still talking to God? Yeah, I am. And I say a prayer out there, but I'm doing it out there because I want a kid to see that. It's not so much that I want someone to go, oh wow, look at Jon. He's such a Christian. Ooh, look good on him. No, I want a kid to like hopefully see that maybe they don't even notice it, but then like the way I go about it, and then they see me fired up after I punch out 12, I'm pumped up, I'm walking off, and like they realize like, wow, he is just kind of a cool, chill guy. You know, it's like, wow, but he was saying a prayer before the game. Like, yeah, you can do that. And it's okay to, whatever your concept of that is, right? Like, I think that's part of my goal now, right? It's, am I a pastor? No. Do I really know the word like that? And like, can I shout it from the rooftops? No, I'm gonna be honest. I don't. I'm growing. I'm learning. But I'm also like growing and learning and trying to walk in a way that like kids can see that like you don't have to be a certain type of athlete to make it, or like this is what works. It's like, nah, like you can be loud and you can be energetic and have fun and go about it in specific ways, you know, like, it's just however the goal has changed, right? I mean, at one point it's just like, I just want to make, hey, if I can make one kid smile today, if I can send one kid home with a smile,
that's
cool,
a win.
You know?
I feel that with listening, like I've said it before in other episodes, but like if one person takes something away from that, I'm so happy because my experience and your experience has helped somebody else. Yeah.
You know, and there were people before us pouring into us.
Yes.
And that's why outside of you have a great podcast voice, like that's why you, I think then there's a running joke early. I don't know. I feel like I remember that, but, like that's why you're doing this and sharing what you know and bringing people together and asking questions to get more information, more knowledge out there. Whether like, I mean, to even sit here and think that like I have knowledge and wisdom to give, you know, like it's so humbling. Like I was just so like, wow, like so many people have kind of molded me into the athlete, the man, the friend, the person, whatever, the brother, the uncle, you know, it's just, and so because of the people before us, we get to share it. And then hopefully like the goal is like, my goal is that Mustache in a couple years is sitting there talking to somebody and he goes, hey, you know what? I heard this from this old dude one time. And then the guy goes, what do you mean old dude? You're the old dude now. And he goes, shut up, kid. And then he gets to share some wisdom. And then he goes, hey, by the way, when the next kid comes in, you pass this down, right?
Yeah.
And like, it doesn't have to be exactly what I told him. But the fact that maybe somebody told me something that got my mind working to formulate an idea to share to somebody else. And like we're creating this crazy consciousness train or whatever, you know, like it's dope to me.
Yeah. That's the name of the game. Honestly, that is the name of the game. That's why I invited you on. That's why I want to do this and continue this because there's people like me that can look up to me. There's people like you that can look up to you and that I more so want to lead by example. And I feel like that's what you're doing. And that's really what you were just saying as well. That
Trying to. Failing, you know, but even when you fail, like that's, you know, I'll leave that too for the kids at home. When you fail, give yourself some grace, get up, keep going. Because you failed does not mean it's over. Exactly. I don't know how many times I failed physically, performance wise, staying healthy, mindset wise. My mindset fails me at least once a day, you know, and like in those moments you feel it, you fail, you go, how could I think that about myself? I know I'm not that. I know my identity doesn't lie in this. Or I know why don't I have confidence? And it's like, all right, pick yourself up, keep going, dust yourself off. You're a gangster, you'll be all right. And like, then you keep going and you get better at it. And the more you pick yourself up, the better you get at it. Right?
Exactly. You got to learn how to, because like you've got it down. I mean, not that you're like perfect at it, but you've got it down. You have the recognition and self-awareness to know when you're in a funk or know what to say to yourself.
That's all it is.
Same thing.
That's all it is. Pick yourself up, dust off your shoulders. What JC say, get the dirt off your shoulders, keep going. You know, it gets better. So it does. Yeah. And it always get better. Yeah. So.
Well, thank you so much. Of course. That was beautiful. Those are really good words. I really appreciate you, seriously. And thank you again. Jon took the time out of his Thanksgiving break to come and be here. And so again, I truly do appreciate it. And I'm so glad we were able to reconnect after literally so long.
Absolutely. It has been way too long.
It has. Yeah. So we'll catch up, but off air. But thank you again. This podcast will be aired on Thursday. So I always say happy Thursday to everyone. And thank you, Jon.
Happy Thursday. Is that going to be Thanksgiving?
Next week. No, you're not doing it.
Happy post Thanksgiving. Hopefully y'all still don't have the itis. You know how it is? I will. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Happy Thursday.